Love Letters to Virginia, the podcast that keeps Virginia on the map, is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Welcome back to Season 2 of the Love Letters to Virginia podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Pasmino. Thanks for listening.
My name is Nicole, and I am the CEO and proprietor of Sunny Delights, LLC, and we specialize in edible products from cereal bars to oils to tinctures and gummies.
You have honey too.
And we do, yes, we have honey. Yes, we do. We just added it. We just added it to our menu, and we are getting ready to add chocolates as well.
Ooh, where are you getting your honey from?
Now there's a story behind that. So when I first started doing the honey, I was going, to the store and get the honey, and someone brought to my attention, and I didn't think about it till they said it to me, and my head lit up like a light bulb. They said, have you ever thought about getting local honey? And at first I looked at them like they were crazy. Then they said, local honey would be good because the allergens that are in the air here are from the bees that are here. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the honey that's from here will help with the allergies that you're suffering here in Virginia. Made perfectly good sense. So there's two places I'm looking to get my honey now. One is in Chesapeake.
Okay.
And I've actually got to get with them maybe sometime next week. But the gentleman I spoke with, he told me to call him Mr. Hill. But Mr. Hill told me, he says, we have local honey here for you, plenty of it. They said because of the COVID, their business has not been, as proficient as they would have liked, but they have plenty of honey for sale. So I'll be going to them and getting local honey and using local honey, to sell honey, infused honey.
Yay! Oh, that's so wonderful. I'm so glad I asked.
Yeah, we will have hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, bags, as well as our cards, and little keychains, things along that line. So there's a multiple of merchandise we're getting ready to bring to the forefront.
Awesome.
We are at the Herb Outlet every Saturday. Come see us. If you don't know where the Herb Outlet is, they're on Instagram. It's free entry. We have a gang of multiple vendors that have awesome products, and they take pride in their products. So come see us, and become part of the Herb Outlet family. We look forward to having all of you.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you.
Getting ready for this Twilight Zone weather.
Oh, I know. Hopefully we will still be able to do the Herb Outlet tomorrow.
Yes, I got my fingers crossed. They're saying 1 to 3 inches, but like I said, you never know.
Right, especially with the ice and stuff.
The weather's been kind of crazy. Last week, I was so upset that I couldn't get to, the event. I was like, well, my husband said, well, there's next week. So just so happen we got snow again, but hopefully it'll be very little. They're saying 1 to 3. So I got my fingers crossed.
Have you always lived out here?
No, I am originally from Philadelphia, and I moved here in 1997. So I've been here since 97. So I've seen my share of weird weather.
Okay,
I came down around the same time. I love Philly.
Real, Philly's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Not what it used to be. Philly is different specimen of something. Different specimen of something now. But
So what brought you down here?
well, change. I was in Philadelphia at a time where things were starting to transition to a, as I like to say, a change of events. And I had children, so
Okay.
I wanted a different environment for them because I seen what was coming. I moved here, didn't know a soul, and I just started over with my children, and best bet, the best thing I could have done.
Oh, that's good. That's what I want to hear. How do you recognize someone from Virginia?
Sometimes I think that's the other way around because people always say, you're not from Virginia. But how do I notice someone from Virginia is the way they speak.
Okay.
So most or the majority of people that I've met here, even when I first came here, I noticed they talk very fast. Very fast, where I was just like, what did you just say? What? So that was one. I also noticed they had like a very slight drawl.
Okay.
Very slight, not noticeable, but just enough where you can hear it. And then the way they would say Norfolk. And I'm like, is it Norfolk or Norfolk or what? I'm not from here. How are you saying this? But yeah, little things like that I pick up on. The flip side of that is people notice when they speak to me that I don't speak like people here. They say, you're not from here. I said, no, I'm not from here. Especially when I get upset, they'll say, oh yeah, you're not from here. But yeah, that if anything, would be the way they speak. I notice the different inflections in their voice where I'll pick up and go, okay, yeah. Yeah.
So how did you start Sunny Delights?
Oh boy. So a little bit about me. I am married, mom of 3, grandmom of 5, and I have a background in nursing. I was in United States Navy, Med Corps. So when I came out of the Navy, I started working as a nurse. And what I noticed, by the way, I have over 30 years in the nursing field. So what I noticed was doctors were very quick to give patients meds for everything. Oh, take this. In my mind, because I'm a reader, I'm forever reading. And anyone who knows the medical field, it changes every day.
Right.
So what you know to be true yesterday, right now, it'd be something totally different. So I was forever reading. And I noticed, I said, well, you're giving someone meds for, let's say, hypertension, and then turn around and give them a prescription 2 months later for cholesterol. A lot of people don't know, a lot of statins, which is what cholesterol meds are, do not synthesize well with high blood pressure meds. So you're literally doing a domino effect. Oh, well, the cholesterol meds is giving you this side effect, I'm going to give you this. So before you know it, you have this big bounty of meds. I said to myself, I said, okay, there has to be something that is cohesive in just one area. So I at first was reading about CBD, and don't get me wrong, I have nothing against CBD, but it was not giving me the answers I was looking for. In the process of this, my mom got sick. So now it hit close to home.
I'm sorry.
My mother had a stroke and she kept having them and they couldn't stop them. And I said to my husband, I said, I need to find something that works. CBD did not work.
Yeah.
However, cannabis did. And I started with her with brownies. She loves chocolate. Started with her with brownies. And I noticed she was not having the strokes as often. She became more alert. Her neuro-wise was better. And I said to my husband, I said, I think I'm on to something here. I think I'm on to something. So in April of last year, I decided to put my nursing mantle down after 30 some odd years, which was very hard for me.
Congratulations.
And yeah, I really, really, really was contemplating that because that's all I know. I put my nursing mantle down and I said, I'm going to go ahead and step out on faith because if it helped my mother, I know it can help someone else. Hence, Sunny Delights was born. Then the research came, you know, with different marijuanas and what they do, and what they do, side effect, you know, different things as far as for cancer, cramps, anxiety, you name it. And it just kind of built from there. In the process of that, my mom, unfortunately, was getting worse. Where the cannabis was more so keeping the pain away instead of the actual strokes. So unfortunately, August, I lost my mom. So I didn't teeter off from it because I knew at some point it worked for my mother. So I'm saying to myself, okay, this has to work for someone else. If it worked for her in the condition she was in, I know it'll work for someone else. And did multiple pop-ups, got a lot of reviews. People were coming back to me saying, hey, do you have this edible? Because I slept so good and my legs don't hurt anymore. And, you know, different reviews of it. So I just stayed the track and kept on going. And it just became very rewarding, fulfilling, as well as, you know, financially. But as a nurse, for me, it's the reviews of people coming back saying, it worked for me. It actually worked. You know, I've been taking this med, that med, and it didn't work, but this worked. So I just stayed the course.
That is a beautiful thing. Was there anything unexpected that you learned in your research process?
Oh, yeah. Well, one, when I first started Sunny Delights, unbeknownst to me, because you hear people say, oh, I want indicas or I want sativas. And I knew of cannabis, but as I said, when we first started, I just was reading a lot as far as the different attributes between the different strains. My son taught me a little acronym for that. He said, indica means you're going to be in the couch, mom. You're going to be asleep. Sativas will sit you down for a little bit, but you'll be able to function. So that's how I remember. So that kind of led me to say, okay, so if indica is going to put you in the couch, what is indicas mainly used for? So I went and I started reading and I found out indicas are mainly for people with what nursing, once again, like to call high level comorbids, meaning cancer, pain issues, MS, things along that line. Indicas, I found it works very well for it. Sativas, on the other hand, more so anxiety, nervousness, just to have a general sense of feeling, free and calm. So in my research, I found that when I started using coconut olive oil at first, and olive oil, a lot of people don't know, has a higher burning content than coconut oil. So therefore, you're able to infuse more of the attributes you're looking for from your cannabis. And as well as with butters. Now, I made the deadly mistake when I first started out. I used salted butter. A mess. It was a mess because it had so much fat content in it. It was awful, but it worked, But as I started reading, I found out unsalted was better because it has a lot less of a fat content, But and it cooks better. So in the process of this, I've learned a couple different things that work, that does not work. Coconut oil, I'm not a fan of, even the unrefined, because what a lot of people don't know, some people cannot tolerate, gastro-wise, coconut. They cannot. So olive oil, I said, well, I'm going to kind of stay the median here, because I could either use olive oil or butter. But I said, I'm going to stay the medium, and I'm going to stay with the olive oil, because one, healthy is healthy. You're able to digest it easier. It has the 5 omega fats in it. So it's an overall win-win. Whereas with the coconut oil, you run the chance of, having gastro upset, or people not knowing they have a coconut reaction. You know what I mean? So I just kind of stay the course of olive oil. Olive oil is my go-to.
That's really good to know. I had no idea about any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you ever, let me rephrase that. Have you had any issues sourcing, or?
In the beginning, I did, but this cannabis community is as big as all outdoors. So now my sourcing is excellent. I have multiple, people I can go to, to get what I need and what I'm looking for, which is good. With being in the cannabis community, you're able to network with a lot of people, not just local, but out of state as well. So it helps, to be in the community. And then you meet a lot of people. Like, I've met some people where I'm like, what? Prime example, Thanksgiving of last year, around the holidays, I did an event for Coastal Cannabis. I don't know if you've heard of them before. But I did an event for them in Virginia Beach. And I have multiple customers that come to my table. So some I remember and some I do not. But at this time, the customer that came brought his brother, who had come to visit for the holidays from out of town. Brought his brother. His brother brought multiple edibles from me, which I thought was fantastic. And then maybe a week later, someone was calling my phone. And first it was a private number, and I have a rule: if you're private, I'm private too. Okay. And the number kept calling me, and I guess the person must have called on, and they unmasked their number. And the name I saw said Trulieve, and I was like, I don't know who Trulieve is. So I answered the phone. Nice gentleman on the other side said, "May I speak to Miss Sunny?" So I got quiet because I'm like, okay. I said, "This is she." He explained who he was. He said he was from distribution and manufacturing of Trulieve Inc. in West Virginia. Anyone who knows me know you cannot just tell me anything. So I immediately, while I'm on the phone with him, I went right to my laptop and I'm putting in the information. And the phone number matched. And then I seen his picture on their actual corporate website. So as he's talking, by this time I've phased him out because I'm like, I need to know who you are. And where did you get my number from? So he said to me, he said, "I know this sounds strange." He said, "But one of our employees brought your product in to our distribution department." He said, "And I would like to talk to you about being a wholesale distributor for our dispensaries." So now, in the interim of him saying this now, I'm looking at the location of his dispensaries. And when I tell you I was floored, I couldn't even breathe because I was like, is this really happening? Is this really happening? So, we started discussing business and the locations that he's interested in having my edibles. And, of course, with the lab, taking them to the lab, making sure they're of the standard, that their company represents, which he did unbeknownst to me, which was good, which lets me know, okay, I'm all right. But, after that, we discussed business, and lo and behold, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 locations that we will be in.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I at first I was kind of apprehensive because I was like, I said, that's a lot. Because he says, we need 3,000 pieces in a month. I said, excuse me. I said, my arm is the factory. He said, you make these? I said, yes, I do. So he says, oh, he says, you literally have to have a bionic arm. I said, you think? So he said, well, he says, let's do 500 in a 6-month span. I said, you got it. And we're in business. But yeah.
Well, if you ever need any help on that end, I am always down to help.
Awesome. See, look at that. Networking. This is what I just said to you. This cannabis community goes far and wide, and you never know. You never know who you're going to meet. And I've met some really, really, when I say awesome people. The gentleman, he's from the Bay Area.
Okay.
And he came to the herb outlet, came to my table. Now, he's been following me on Instagram because he said to me, he said, baby, he said, you have a hot firecracker right here and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So when him and I were discussing my wholesale distribution, he said to me, he said, I want to talk with you about, having your items in the Bay Area. He said, we'll set up a day and we'll talk, maybe do lunch, and crunch some numbers and see what we can do. So that's another thing. So I'm getting out there. And don't get me wrong, I'm very humble. I wasn't looking to be like, oh, this big old edible business. No, No. Yeah, I enjoy doing what I do. I enjoy it. The satisfaction of having customers come back and say that my edibles worked, whatever reason they use them for, is gratification for me. It lets me know that I have another purpose outside of nursing. And nursing, is my first love. But I think I've come to a arena where I'm on the flip side of it. I've always been on the side where they've been in the worst shape. And now I'm seeing them on the other side after the sickness, the leftovers of being sick, and they're trying to deal with whatever health issue they have, and now I'm on that side. So to be able to aid them in that and their quality of life is awesome for me. I love that. I love that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Nicole. You've been a delight.
All righty, you as well. I thank you for having me.
Anytime. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me.
That I do, and I sure will. And you take care and stay warm, okay?
You too, love. Thank you.
All righty.
Do you have a hard time coming up with content ideas for your podcast? I find that there is nothing more embarrassing than all of a sudden being stumped in the middle of a conversation where it's like, I know I had more questions for you, but I just can't remember what they are right now. And that's why I'm trying Poddex. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live streams, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment, all with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C.
Hey, this is Latasha Holloway. I plan to be the future mayor of Virginia Beach, but when the time comes, I will need your support. As a veteran of the healthcare field, I understand something about empathy. We must have empathy and compassion in order to improve Virginia Beach.